Good morning. I am Reverend Jay Exodus Hooper, as in protege, Jay. It is good to see you this morning. I am medium height with the red hat, brown skin, locks down my back, and I don't know what this actually is called today. It's like a vest, but long. So I just want to welcome you all. I want to open up the space for us. Just announcements really quickly about a few things. The animal blessing will be at 11, so if you have any furry friends, scaly friends, creepy crawly friends, stuffed animal friends, all are welcomed at our 11:30 service. So if you are, used to that being this time, it's actually going to happen all together at the 11. So I look forward to seeing you there if you would join us. Also, Trunk or Treat is happening. We have to get ready for that. That's on the 27th of October, so put that in your calendar. And nonetheless, it is good to see you. I want to just share this as a little small snippet of the welcome that was something that inspired me the other day, and I was like, I should just share this as a part of the welcome, because this has been, I think it's about 2 months for me, right? So in 2 months, I've really learned the spirit of love in a very Beacon way. And I won't get too fancy, but I just want to share this as a welcome to you as well. That when we experience love as grand as it should be, should always greet you with a warm eye. That it should hold you close and meet you in your most warmest self. That is the words and the feelings in which love shows up. I welcome you today. Feel loved.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Nisa Iwama, and I'm the Director of Music Ministry, and I'm here today with John O'Neill. Woohoo! Woohoo! And also the Jermaine Cripe Lifespan Ministry team. And we are going to start with a hymn by Bill Staines. And I'm going to sing it slowly a few times so that we get familiar with the tune, and then hopefully we'll all join in on the choruses. And it goes like this. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or pause or anything they've got now. All right, I think we should just try that one more time.
Little
slowly.
faster.
Let's just try slowly first. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or pause or anything they've got now. All right, now we're going to go a little more quickly. And Jermaine's going to sing some verses for us in between.
And you guys are I'm gonna have them do the animal sounds when you hear something if you feel inspired.
And I invite you to rise in any way possible and join and sing. Let's start from the top. Here we go. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on a telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or pause or anything they got now.
Listen to the bass, it's the one on the bottom where the bullfrog croaks and the hippopotamus moans and groans with the big to-do. And the old cow just goes, mmm. The dogs and the cats, they take up the meadow while the honeybee hums and the cricket fiddles, the donkey brays and the pony neighs and the old gray badger sighs.
Here we go.
All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands or pause or anything they got now. Listen to the top where the little bird sings the melodies, and the high notes ring, and the hoot owl cries over everything, and the blackbird disagrees. Singing in the nighttime, singing in the day, while the little duck quacks and the hare is way, and the otter hasn't got much to say, and the porcupine talks to himself. There we go. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands or pause or anything they got now. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands or pause or anything they've got now, or ribbits. Thank you, Miles, for that extra ribbit that we needed at this moment in time. So necessary. Good morning. My name is Jermaine Kripe, and as Misa said, I'm a member of the Lifespan team. I'm your coordinator. It is a privilege to be here this morning. I am a plus-size 50-something African-American woman with blue, black, and graying locks, wearing a purple dress with multicolored circles. Unitarian Universalism draws from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building a foundation of love. We covenant congregation to congregation and through our association to support and assist one another in our ministries. But love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. And this morning we honor the value of interdependence, acknowledging, respecting, caring for, and appreciating the interdependent web of all existence and each being within it. So today, we light this chalice in honor of our earth partners in the animal realm. The furred and hooved, two-legged, four-legged, many-legged, fanged and clawed, gentle and fierce, wild and tame. May we remember that all animals are our relatives, worthy of our care and respect.
Good morning, Beacon. Good morning, Miles. My name is Sean, or Dad S. For anyone I've not met, I most often receive he, him pronouns. Today I'm wearing a heavy wool sweater, the color of charcoal. My name tag has a little green triceratops on it. And I'm wearing my burgundy stole, which indicates my role as a chaplain in this community. As chaplains, we are extensions of Beacon's ministry. We create sacred space for intentional presence and deep listening. And we recognize that all of us need care at different points in our lives. And so we offer ourselves as a living resource for spiritual care. We believe that intentional presence and deep listening can provide a foundation for healing, even in our most challenging times. If you are feeling called to be more heard and would like to be connected one-to-one with a chaplain, please see me or any member of the ministry team. You can trust that we hold these engagements in confidence, and you can learn more on the Beacon website. Another way that we create sacred space for presence and listening is by facilitating a weekly ritual of community candle lighting. Together, we light candles of joy, sorrow, and gratitude. This morning, we light a candle for Dussehra, celebrated yesterday, a Hindu festival honoring and celebrating the triumph of good over evil. We light a candle for Jewish UUs and Jews around the world who this weekend observed Yom Kippur, a day of atonement, forgiveness, and fresh starts. We light a candle commemorating National Coming Out Day. For those of us in the queer community, coming out can be very complex, marked by both liberation and loss. For some, coming out simply is not accessible for even their safety. For those in the queer community, wherever you are in this journey, know that you are not alone. We light a candle in memoriam for Dr. Emily Sissy Houston, Grammy Award winner and mother to Whitney Houston. We light a candle of immense gratitude for the Beacon Youth Chaplains who gave the time yesterday for a truly impactful and inspirational afternoon of training. We uphold and celebrate the light of this team, knowing that they are prepared to offer healing care as chaplains for their peers. I'd like to name them Izzy San Miguel Legru, Lois Wright, Abby Laney, Sammy Kurian, Essa McGowan, Hannah Shell, along with our facilitators Dana Moore, Reverend Dr. J. Exodus Hooper, and myself. And finally, we light a candle of joy and affirmation on this Animal Blessing Sunday for all the creatures that grace our lives as pets, wildlife, and as parts of the sustaining circle of life. For these things and so much more, beloved, I invite you now to consider your own inspirations of joy, sorrow, and gratitude. For those of you joining virtually, take this time to share a reflection in the chat or light a candle on a home altar. And for those of you here in the sanctuary, I invite you now to come forward and light a candle of your own.
We're going to sing number 1069, which is Ancient Mother. And I think for this one we can remain seated. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling.
want to share in your hearing a poem by Billy Collins called Dharma. The way the dog trots out the front door every morning, without a hat or an umbrella, without any money or the keys to her doghouse, never fails to fill the saucer of my heart with milky admiration. Who provides a finer example of a life without encumbrance. Thorough in his curtainless hut with a single plate, a single spoon, Gandhi with his staff and his holy diapers. Off she goes into the material world with nothing but her brown coat and her modest blue collar, following only her wet nose, the twin portals of her steady breathing, followed only by the plume of her tail. If only she did not shove the cat aside every morning and eat his food, what a model of self-containment she would be. What a paragon of earthly detachment. If only she were not so eager for a rub behind the ears, so acrobatic in her welcomes. If only I were not her God. As we take this day to think about our friends of the earth, our creepy, crawly friends, I'm often brought into a moment to think and meditate, sometimes in this moment of meditation, about how we are absolutely one with the earth and one with the ecosystem that we live in, and that we too are just as creepy crawly, and we are just as furry, if not hairless. I want to invite us for a moment to cloak yourself, if you will, in the very essence of the very animal or critter you admire the most. If you were any creature in the room, what would you be? Cloak yourself in that for a moment. If you may rest your eyes, find yourself in a posture maybe very similar to the creepy crawly thing or the animal that you are resting with. Maybe it is a mermaid tail. They're welcomed here too. Maybe you are galloping. Maybe you are swimming along. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Maybe you are soaring high. In whatever position you are in, stay there. Rather on the lily pad, stay there. Rest your hand on your stomach. Take a deep breath with me in. And release that breath. Take a deep breath in again. And release again. And for the final part of this meditation, I invite you, if you will, join me in your inner geek. Take a deep breath in and release the sound of that animal. Roar.
Good
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Erica Hartman. I'm a white middle-aged woman with glasses wearing a green jumpsuit. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, but sometimes they just call me Mom. A friend of mine that I totally admire grew up as a Unitarian Universalist. It was at the dedication of their child that my interest in UU grew. The spiritual leader was praising the earth and asking friends and family to mentor and guide the child. A year later, my mom abruptly passed away. I was in need of a place to grieve and wonder. I started attending my friend's congregation. After a year of going to services, COVID disrupted everything. During this time, my original congregation was having technical difficulties. That's when I found Beacon. Their services were streaming without a glitch. I spent months watching Reverend Robin and Dr. Tooley during such a time of uncertainty and grief. They were true beacons to me. After our second vaccinations, I decided to check out in real life. Even with mask sign, I could feel the love and commitment from the community here. My children could go off into groups with their peers with the amazing Jermaine while I attended services. It wasn't long till Dr. Tooley was greeting us by name as we walked through the door. Wow, the woman I watched on YouTube knows my name. One Sunday night after dinner, I realized Beacon was the place for my family. Instead of saying our usual what we are grateful for, my then 5-year-old daughter asked if we could do a rosebud thorn. If you're unfamiliar, don't worry, I was. A rose is something that you're grateful for, a bud is something that you're looking forward to, and a thorn is something that is bothering you. I was thrilled that she absorbed something from Beacon and wondered what else we could learn here. Whether you're passionate about social justice, the environment, or you just like to bake, there's a small group here at Beacon for you. If it is social justice, you have to check out Reverend Robin's Wikipedia page. My rose is Beacon. My bud is my children attending the 8th grade OWL program. And my thorn is that I didn't find this place sooner. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica. Thank you for your presence here. Thank you for your story, and the gratitude fills my heart. You know, during the pandemic in those early days, it was just a couple of us in a room, social distancing, looking at a camera, having no idea what was on the other side or who. And I'm so grateful that you are among those on the other side. It is with grateful hearts now our morning offering, beloved, will be received. Thank you.
We're going to start with the words of Julian of Norwich, "All shall be well." And this has a chance for you to echo back some words as we go through the song. For all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. May you be safe, may you be strong, may you be lifted up in joy, may you find peace and be at ease, and may you blessed be. May we be safe, may we be strong, may we be lifted up in joy, may we find peace and be at ease. number 1010, which is We Give Thanks. And rise in all ways possible to join in singing. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Thank you, Misa. Thank you, John. Beloved, I am indeed Reverend Robin. My pronouns are she, her. I am in autumnal colors again. It is a theme this day, and I am of average height and an older millennial. I'm not saying middle age. When I say I'm a middle-aged white woman, there's a response in the congregation that those online might not be able to see. So I'm an older millennial. That's a sermon for another day. I want to begin with a story as adapted with permission from a wonderful collection that I encourage you to seek out, Hawaiian Family Legends by Matthew Kaupio. The story that I'm sharing goes like this. A long time ago, humans came into being and they loved the world. They loved the springtime with the beautiful flowers and life just teeming and emerging. They loved the summer, a time of growth and berries and the beginning of harvest. They loved the fall with the array of colors in the trees, with the celebrations of cooler days. But as autumn turned to winter, the people began to shiver. The nights grew colder and longer, and in those early days, some children and even elders would die from the cold. The winter was a hard time. One day, Coyote was wandering by a human village. He could hear the wailing of humans as they mourned their loved ones and feared the time of winter. Spring was finally coming, and Coyote could hear an older one say, "Feel the warmth of the sun. If only we could have such warmth in the winter." Now, Coyote was not of the people, and Coyote had no need for fire, but he felt sorry for the people who were sad and shivering. Coyote knew that at the top of a far mountain, there lived fire beings. These fire beings hoarded the fire, and they would not share it with anyone. So Coyote crept to the mountain to see how the fire beings were guarding the fire. Coyote watched the fire beings for many days. He watched as the fire was fed with dry things like pine cones and twigs. He watched the fire beings take turns guarding the fire at night while the others slept. Coyote went back down the mountain to speak to his friends among the people. He told them of the shivering, hairless humans and their need for fire. He told them of the selfish fire beings and their inability to share. He asked his friends to help him. Squirrel, chipmunk, frog, and wood all offered their services.
Coyote crept back up the mountain. As the fire beings were changing the guard for the fire, Coyote leapt up to the fire and took a burning coal. Immediately he turned and ran down the mountain. The fire beings flew after him, trying to get their fire back. One being touched the tip of Coyote's tail, which has always since been white. Coyote threw the fire, and Squirrel caught it, but the coal touched the edge of his back and made his tail stand upright, as it is today. Then Squirrel threw it to Chipmunk, who froze in fear. Finally, he turned and ran, but a fire being clawed him on his back, giving him his white stripes forever. Chipmunk threw the burning coal to Frog, who turned and ran, but one of the fire beings grabbed Frog by his tail. But Frog jumped and tore free, and thus he has no tail today. The fire beings came at Frog again, and Frog flung the coal at Wood. Wood kept the coal safe. But the fire beings could not figure out how to get the coal from Wood. They yelled at Wood. They sang to Wood. They even promised presents to Wood, but Wood would not give up the coal. Finally, the fire beings left and returned to the mountain, assuming that if they could not get coal from Wood, neither could the people. Coyote took Wood to the human village, showed them how to get fire from wood. He took 2 sticks and he rubbed them together. Then he spun a sharpened stick in a hole in another piece of wood, and fire came to the humans, and they were never cold again. There are more theologies of the worth of life forms and sentient beings than we could explore in the time we have today. From teachings in Buddhism about sentient beings to creation myths in Judeo-Christian traditions, lifting up the importance of care and interwoven existence, to our own Unitarian Universalist value of interdependence that now declares, we honor the interdependent web of all existence. We covenant to cherish Earth and all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. With humility and with reverence, we acknowledge our place in the great web of life, and we work to repair harm and damaged relationships. When we turn to the creation stories of the world, so often the dominating question of our understanding of creation is placed on its value. What is it worth to us? I have preached many a sermon that was purchased at an annual fundraiser where someone, in an attempt to stump me, has asked me to create a sermon about the value of a mosquito. That'll test her on interdependence. But, of course, not only was our understanding of existence and relationship with Earth about valuing, but it's particularly about the value or worth of other life forms to us as humans. A certain amount of anthropocentrism even finds its way into Unitarian Universalism. That's what I love about the story that I shared earlier about Coyote and fire and the people. Because Coyote, we are told from the beginning, has no need for fire. It is worth nothing to Coyote. But Coyote obtains the fire for the people because they are suffering. It is a story about affirming the worth of something for which you have no direct need. If you study many myths, including Native American myths, you will find that Coyote appears frequently and serves a lot of functions. He's kind of a trickster who reveals the nature of life and all beings in it. Carl Jung once said that Coyote in a story was a faithful copy of an absolutely undifferentiated human consciousness, a forerunner of the Savior, and like him, God, man, and animal all at once. Coyote is both subhuman and superhuman, a bestial and divine being. And so the story of Coyote and Fire reminds us also of the source that sustains all life, the source of fire. It's not sourced from humans alone. In the story, Coyote leads a crew, chipmunk, squirrel, frog, even wood is a part of it. For other creation myths, it is God or a divine being, and yet others, Earth herself, some simply say great mystery. But at its core, this story is a reminder that we are made of stardust, and that it is not only us humans who are sourced of stardust. I've heard that so many times, how we're reminded of stardust, that we are made of stardust in UU congregations. I've said it, stardust and clay. Surely you've heard it, right? And it's easy to think it's only us humans, right? Like we are of a stardust. It's you feel kind of good about that, right? You feel a kind of certain way. But it's not only humans then that are made of stardust, but also this substance dwells in all living creatures, all life. It's the foundational element of life. The story of Coyote and Fire also reminds us that we are never just ourselves. Yes, we are splendid and shimmering like stardust, and so is all of life. So if the worth of something, including a life form, is not determined by its particular value to us, well, if you really take this seriously, then much of our living is kind of disrupted. Or at least maybe we find ourselves a little disquieted, uncomfortable with this realization. When I went to India last year, I was in a marketplace and we were shopping for some last minute souvenirs and things before we were heading home. And there was this kind of like a fast food stall where people would go up to the counter and take away all kinds of fried foods and street food, but also fruit in cups that you could take with you. And while I was standing there waiting for some people to get out of the store to finish their shopping, I saw this cow walk up. And then I saw the most remarkable thing. People started going to that fast food stand and getting food and bringing it to the cow and feeding the cow. And when they were done, kind of just gently placing a hand on the cow and then leaving. So one of the members of the Joai church saw me kind of like looking at this, progression of activity and said, well, cows are sacred in our culture, and it's believed that if you see a cow in an open place like this and you give that cow some kind of nourishment and then you touch the cow will bless you. And then my friend at the Joai church asked, do you want to feed the cow? Now, I grew up in rural upstate New York with lots of dairy farms around me. And I am not proud of my cow tipping days, but it was a little as if my adolescence and life came full circle in that moment. I took some food and I fed the cow, and then I placed my hand gently along its side. And I swear it closed its eyes in recognition of my kindness, and it felt almost like an absolution of my prior sins. I think a lot about that cow, and even have started to change the habits and the ways in which I live, the food I consume because of that cow. I've been kind of disturbed by that cow. Because if that cow can have the same fire as I do, the same stardust, the same shimmer and glimmer, then where does the reverence end? And by consequence, what does it require of me in my daily living if I am to have integrity? In our second service today at 11, we're going to be participating in our annual Blessing of the Animals, which is usually held a week prior to the closest Sunday on October 4th, the feast day of St. Francis. In the Roman Catholic tradition, St. Francis was a monk who took a vow of poverty and lived in harmony with all creatures and all people. And having been raised by Franciscans in Catholic school, I can testify to the power of accepting simplicity as a way of life and the integrity with which many of those Franciscans lived to see the source of fire within all living beings. I've been wondering, as we've been approaching this animal blessing, what does it mean to bless? What does it mean to bless in a faith tradition that often eschews magical thinking that special water could alter the substance of something? What does blessing mean? And which creatures do we bless? I never know each year what is going to show up at our door. Maybe this year there will be a cow. But it does beg us a question of where the dividing line of the sacredness and specialness of life is. I like how Marilyn Robinson describes blessing in her book Gilead. Gilead's a novel that takes the form of a journal that a dying elderly minister in Gilead, Iowa, is writing to his 7-year-old son in 1956 to provide him kind of a guide for when he is no longer there. And in this passage, Reverend John Ames is reflecting on a moment from his own childhood when he blessed some stray kittens with his friends long before he was a minister. He writes, "I still remember how those warm little brows felt under the palm of my hand. Everyone has petted a cat, but to touch one like that with the pure intention of blessing it is a very different thing. It stays the mind. For years, we would wonder what, from a cosmic viewpoint, we had done to them. It still seems to me to be a real question. There is a reality in blessing. It doesn't enhance sacredness, but it acknowledges it. And there is power in that. I have felt it pass through me, so to speak. The sensation is one of really knowing a creature. I mean, really feeling its mysterious life and your own mysterious life at the same time. I don't wish to be urging the ministry on you, son, but there are some advantages to it you might not know to take account of if I did not point them out. Not that you have to be a minister to confer blessing. You are simply much more likely to find yourself in such a position." And maybe that is our conclusion today. Not an answer or a neat declaration, but a question and invitation. In this shared ministry and interdependent web of all existence, what are you called to bless? To acknowledge the sacredness of another life form. Most especially those things that you have no immediate need of at this moment. For me, it was a cow on a dusty road in India. And just yesterday, it was the grass I ran beside on my afternoon run, or the cardinal who is devouring my sunflower seeds that I let out to dry. Or the sunflower that I have no need for, but whose head faithfully for weeks turned toward east every dawn. The sunflower who gives me an inspiration that is clearly born of the same carbon, the same stardust, glimmering now in each of you. And yes, the mosquito that bit me and still itches has a place, even if not one of symbiotic relationship. But perhaps discomfort is a gift at times too. for the relief that lives in its shadow. I bless the emerging life, even if it is one I will not endure to know, like Reverend Ames. And I bless the lives that sustain mine, even as I consume a meal. I am disrupted, disquieted, and all at once graced with this truth. We are living in an interdependent web of all existence. Life can be harsh and beautiful all at once, and so can we. There is no perfect moral living which will not cost the energy of another life, but we can live with integrity. We can covenant to cherish earth and all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. We can acknowledge our place in the great web of life, and we can work to repair harm and damaged relationships. And we can choose a little bit more every day to bless the world.
Our last song of the day is 1064, which you might even recognize the number because it's our most well-known blessing for the earth and all the inhabitants and the web of life. So I invite you to rise in all ways possible and join in singing 1064, Blue Boat Home. Below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Would you take hands with one another for our closing blessing? And for those joining us online, I invite you, as you're able, to extend a hand toward mine. Thank you. Beloved, we hold as Unitarian Universalists that love is at the center. May you know that truth in your bones mixed with clay and stardust. May that love guide you and hold you, sustain you, lead you, And may that love be a gift you offer all living beings whom you encounter until we are graced with the gift to gather again. Go in love. Amen.